Logan Hayes never wanted to fall in love again. Not after what it cost him the first time. Not with a 6-year-old daughter depending on him to keep the world predictable and safe. But when Alara Quinn walked into his life with her sharp eyes and quiet defiance, predictable shattered. She wasn't supposed to be his. She was already promised to someone else. Locked into a future she didn't choose. And Logan? He was the cautious single dad who played it safe, who colored inside every line, who never let himself want anything he couldn't control. Until her. Now he's standing at the edge of a choice that could wreck everything he's built, or finally teach him what it means to actually live. If you want to see how far this story goes, drop a like and comment with the city you're watching from. Let's see where this reaches. Logan Hayes had learned a long time ago that mornings were all about systems. You didn't survive single fatherhood by winging it. You survived by building routines so airtight that even a 6-year-old's chaos couldn't crack them. 6:15. Alarm. Shower. Coffee brewing while he packed Ava's lunch, peanut butter and jelly, apple slices, string cheese, juice box. Same lunch every day, because she'd eat it without complaint, and that was worth more than variety. 6:45. Wake Ava. Negotiate her out of pajamas and into school clothes, which was less negotiation and more strategic bargaining involving screen time and dessert privileges. 7:10. Breakfast. 7:35. Out the door. It worked. It had to. Because the alternative, disorder, uncertainty, anything that felt remotely like the year Ava's mother left, was unacceptable. Logan didn't talk about Rachel anymore. Not with Ava, not with anyone. She'd walked out when Ava was 2, decided motherhood wasn't her calling, and Logan had spent the years since then making sure his daughter never felt the hole that left behind. He was enough. He had to be. This particular Wednesday started like every other. Ava dragged her feet getting dressed, complained about brushing her teeth, then brightened the moment Logan mentioned pancakes. He flipped 3 onto her plate, watched her drown them in syrup, and reminded himself that sticky countertops were a small price to pay for her smile. "Daddy, can I bring my stuffed bunny to school?" "You know the rules, sweetheart. Toys stay home." "But Emma brought her dinosaur last week." "Emma's not my kid." Ava wrinkled her nose, but didn't push it. She knew when she'd hit the wall. Logan appreciated that about her. She tested boundaries, but she wasn't reckless. She'd inherited his caution, maybe. Or maybe she'd just learned that the world was safer when you followed the rules. They made it out the door on time. Logan buckled her into the back seat, double-checked the straps, then slid behind the wheel. The drive to Maplewood Elementary took 12 minutes in light traffic. He knew every stoplight, every turn. Predictable. He pulled up to the drop-off lane, waited his turn, then leaned back to kiss Ava's forehead. "Have a good day, kiddo." "You too, Daddy." She hopped out, backpack bouncing, and disappeared into the stream of kids heading toward the entrance. Logan watched until she was inside. Every single time. He didn't leave until he saw her go through those doors. Then he exhaled. Work was a 15-minute drive in the opposite direction. Logan managed operations at a mid-sized logistics company. Nothing glamorous, but stable. He liked stable. His job was to make sure things ran smoothly, shipments arrived on time, problems got solved before they became disasters. He was good at it. Control suited him. He parked in his usual spot, grabbed his coffee thermos, and headed inside. The office was already humming, phones ringing, keyboards clicking, the low murmur of people pretending to be busy. Logan slipped into his cubicle, powered up his computer, and started sorting through emails. 43 unread. Most of them garbage. He deleted the spam, flagged the urgent ones, and was halfway through a thread about a delayed shipment when his boss, Martin, appeared at the edge of his desk. "Morning, Hayes?" Logan glanced up. "Morning." "Got a sec?" "Sure." Martin was a decent enough guy, mid-50s, perpetually tired, the kind of manager who avoided conflict by delegating problems. He gestured toward the conference room. Logan followed, already running through possibilities. Budget cuts? Restructuring? A screw-up he'd missed? Martin closed the door behind them and sat down. Logan remained standing. "We're bringing someone new onto the team," Martin said. "Consultant. Corporate wants a fresh set of eyes on our processes. See if there's room for improvement." Logan's jaw tightened. Improvement was corporate speak for, "We think you're doing it wrong." "When?" "She starts today." Of course she did. She'll be shadowing you for the first week, Martin continued, learning the workflow, asking questions. I need you to bring her up to speed. Logan nodded. He didn't love it, but arguing wouldn't change anything. Got it. Good. She should be here around 9. Martin left. Logan returned to his desk and tried to focus on work, but the irritation lingered. He didn't need a consultant hovering over his shoulder, questioning every decision. He'd been doing this job for 5 years. He knew what worked. 9 o'clock came. Then 9:15. Logan was starting to think the consultant had bailed when he heard Martin's voice across the office. Logan, come meet Alara. He stood, rounded the corner, and stopped. She was younger than he'd expected. Late 20s, maybe. Dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, dressed sharply but not stiffly. Blazer, blouse, slacks that looked expensive without trying. But it wasn't the clothes that made him pause. It was her eyes. They were steady, assessing, like she could see past the pleasantries and straight into whatever you were trying to hide. Alara Quinn, she said, extending a hand. Her grip was firm, confident. Logan Hayes, Martin's been telling me good things. That's generous of him. She smiled, just barely. Not warm, but not cold either. Measured. I'm here to learn, not critique. Promise. Logan didn't believe that for a second, but he nodded anyway. Let's get started then. He led her back to his desk, pulled up a spare chair, and walked her through the basics. Their system was straightforward. Track shipments, coordinate with drivers, resolve issues as they came up. Nothing revolutionary. Alara listened without interrupting, took notes on a tablet, asked a few clarifying questions that were sharper than he expected. Why do you route the northern deliveries through Cleveland instead of Pittsburgh? She asked at one point. Because Pittsburgh's distribution center is a bottleneck, Cleveland's faster. Even with the extra mileage? Even with the extra mileage. She made a note. Logan couldn't tell if she agreed or thought he was an idiot. The morning crawled. Alara shadowed him through calls, emails, a brief argument with a driver who'd missed a delivery window. She didn't say much, just observed. It should have been fine. Logan had trained people before, but something about her presence felt different. She wasn't just watching him work. She was reading him. By lunch, he needed space. I'm grabbing food, he said, standing. You want anything? I'm good. Thanks. He escaped to the break room, microwaved leftovers, and ate standing up. Through the window, he could see Alara still at his desk, scrolling through something on her tablet, focused, unbothered. When he returned, she glanced up. You always eat that fast? I've got a kid. Fast is the default. How old? 6. That's a good age. It's exhausting. She smiled again, and this time it reached her eyes. I bet. Logan sat down, and for a moment the conversation hung there, unfinished. He didn't usually talk about Ava at work, didn't mix the two worlds. But Alara didn't push. She just went back to her notes, and Logan appreciated that more than he expected. The afternoon passed quicker. Alara asked fewer questions, seemed to settle into the rhythm. Around 3, she leaned back in her chair and stretched. You're more organized than I expected. Logan raised an eyebrow. What were you expecting? Chaos. Most operations teams I've consulted with are held together with duct tape and prayer. We've got our systems. I noticed. There was something in her tone, not mockery, but not quite approval either. Like she was still deciding what she thought. Can I ask you something? She said. Sure. Why logistics? You don't strike me as someone who dreamed of tracking shipments for a living. Logan hesitated. It was a fair question, but also none of her business. Still, something about the way she asked, direct, not prying, made him answer. It's stable, predictable. I've got a daughter who needs consistency, and this job gives me that. Alara nodded slowly. That makes sense. What about you? Logan asked before he could stop himself. Why consulting? I like solving problems. That's vague. So was your answer. He almost laughed. Almost. Touché. The rest of the day passed without incident. At 5, Logan shut down his computer, grabbed his jacket, and glanced at Alara. She was still working. You're not clocking out? I want to finish reviewing the routing data. I'll be here a bit longer. Logan nodded. See you tomorrow then. See ya. He left, climbed into his car, and headed toward Ava's school. The pickup line was already forming. He joined the queue, waited his turn, and watched the doors until Ava came bounding out, backpack bouncing, face lit up. She climbed into the back seat, chattering about her day before he'd even pulled away from the curb. Logan listened, asked the right questions, and felt the tension from work ease out of his shoulders. This was the part that mattered. The rest was just noise. They stopped at the grocery store on the way home. Ava insisted on pushing the cart, which meant Logan spent half the trip redirecting her away from the candy aisle. They grabbed the essentials, milk, bread, chicken for dinner, and checked out. At home, Logan set Ava up with her homework at the kitchen table while he started cooking. She worked through her math sheet, got stuck on a subtraction problem, and called him over. He walked her through it, watched her face light up when she figured it out, then returned to the stove. Dinner was simple: grilled chicken, steamed broccoli, rice. Ava picked at the broccoli, but ate everything else. Logan counted it as a win. After dinner came this bedtime routine: bath, pajamas, teeth, story. Ava picked the same book she'd been picking for 2 weeks, a story about a girl who found a magical garden. Logan read it even though he could recite it by heart, watched her eyes grow heavy, and kissed her forehead when she finally drifted off. He turned off the light, pulled the door mostly closed, and stood in the hallway for a moment. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Logan poured himself a glass of water, sat on the couch, and stared at nothing in particular. This was his life. Predictable, controlled, safe, and he was fine with that. Mostly. Done. The next morning started the same. Alarm, shower, coffee, Ava. Pancakes again because she asked nicely. School drop-off, 12-minute drive, watch her go through the doors, work. Alara was already at his desk when he arrived. "You're early," Logan said. "I wanted to get a head start." She'd pulled up spreadsheets, routing maps, efficiency reports. Logan set down his coffee and leaned over her shoulder. "Find anything interesting?" "A few inefficiencies, nothing catastrophic. Good to know I'm not completely incompetent." She glanced up, and there was that almost smile again. "I didn't say that." Logan sat down. They fell into the same rhythm as yesterday: work, questions, occasional banter. Alara was sharp, too sharp maybe. She picked up on things most people missed, asked questions that made Logan reconsider decisions he'd made on autopilot. It was annoying. It was also kind of impressive. By midweek, Logan had stopped minding her presence. She wasn't there to undermine him. She was just doing her job. And she was good at it. Thursday afternoon, she asked if he wanted to grab lunch off-site. Logan hesitated. Lunch meant breaking routine. But Ava was at school, work could wait an hour, and Alara was already standing, waiting for an answer. Sure. They walked to a deli 2 blocks away. The place was packed, but they found a table in the corner. Logan ordered a sandwich. Alara got a salad and barely touched it. "You don't eat much," Logan observed. "I'm not that hungry." "Then why suggest lunch?" "Because I wanted to talk without Martin hovering." Logan set down his sandwich. "About what?" Alara leaned back, studying him. "You're good at your job. Better than you think. But you're playing it safe. Safe works." "Does it?" "I've got a kid, Alara. I don't have the luxury of taking risks. I'm not saying blow everything up. I'm saying you could do more. You're capable of more." Logan frowned. "Why do you care?" She didn't answer right away, just looked at him with those steady, unreadable eyes. "I don't know yet," she said finally, "but I do." Logan didn't know what to say to that, so he picked up his sandwich and ate in silence. When they got back to the office, something had shifted. Not dramatically, just enough that Logan noticed. Alara wasn't just a consultant anymore. She was something else, something he didn't have a name for, and that scared him more than he wanted to admit. Neat. Friday came faster than Logan expected. The week had blurred together: work, Ava, Alara's questions, routines that suddenly felt less solid than they had before. He told himself it was just the disruption of having someone new around, that once she finished her assessment and moved on, things would go back to normal. But Friday afternoon, as he was packing up to leave, Alara stopped him. "Can I ask you something personal?" Logan hesitated. "Depends on the question." "Why are you so afraid of changing anything?" He stiffened. "I'm not afraid." "You are." I've been watching you all week. You've built this perfect little system, and it works. But it's also a cage. That's not fair. Isn't it? Logan's jaw tightened. You don't know anything about my life. You're right. I don't. But I know what it looks like when someone's hiding. I'm not hiding. I'm protecting my daughter. From what? From instability, from disappointment, from getting hurt. Alara's expression softened, just a little. And what about you? Logan didn't answer. He couldn't. I'm not trying to push you, Alara said quietly. I just think you deserve more than what you're settling for. She grabbed her bag and left. Logan stood there, alone in the empty office, and felt something crack. Whoosh. That weekend, Logan couldn't shake the conversation. He went through the motions, errands, playground, movie night with Ava. But Alara's words kept circling back. You deserve more than what you're settling for. Did he? He'd built a good life. Stable, predictable. Ava was happy. That was enough, wasn't it? Sunday evening, after Ava went to bed, Logan sat on the couch with his phone. He stared at Alara's contact info in the company directory. He could text her. Apologize for getting defensive, maybe ask if she wanted to grab coffee. He typed out a message, deleted it, typed another. Deleted that too. Finally, he set the phone down and rubbed his face. He was overthinking this. Alara was a consultant. She'd be gone in a few weeks. Whatever this was, this strange pull he felt when she looked at him, when she challenged him, it didn't matter, it couldn't matter. But Monday morning, when he walked into the office and saw her already at his desk, coffee in hand, looking up at him with that same steady gaze, Logan realized he'd been lying to himself. It already mattered, and he had no idea what to do about it. The second week started differently. Alara didn't ask as many questions. She'd absorbed the workflow, understood the systems, and now she just worked alongside him. It should have felt normal, but it didn't. Because somewhere between the spreadsheets and the routing reports, Logan had started noticing things he shouldn't. The way she tapped her pen when she was thinking, the small furrow between her eyebrows when something didn't add up, the way she laughed, quiet, almost surprised, like she wasn't used to finding things funny. He noticed, and he hated that he noticed. Tuesday, she brought him coffee without asking, his usual order. He didn't remember telling her what that was. How did you know? He asked. I pay attention. Wednesday, they worked late. Not because they had to, but because the conversation kept going. They talked about work at first, then drifted into other things. Books, movies, the absurdity of corporate jargon. Alara had opinions on everything, and she wasn't afraid to share them. Logan found himself arguing back, not because he disagreed, but because he liked the way her face lit up when she was making a point. It was after 7 when he finally checked the time. I need to go, he said, standing abruptly. Ava's with the sitter, and I'm already late. Alara looked up, surprised. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep you. You didn't. He stopped. I'll see you tomorrow. He left before she could respond. At home, he paid the sitter, checked on Ava, already asleep, and stood in the kitchen feeling like an idiot. What was he doing? Getting coffee? Staying late? Enjoying conversations that had nothing to do with work? This wasn't smart. This wasn't safe. This was exactly the kind of thing he'd sworn off years ago. Thursday, he tried to keep his distance. Professional, polite. But Alara wasn't making it easy. She kept catching his eye across the office, smiling like she knew exactly what he was doing. Friday, she cornered him. You're avoiding me. I'm not. You are. Did I do something wrong? Logan exhaled. No, you didn't. Then what's going on? He looked at her, really looked at her, and felt the words rising before he could stop them. I can't do this. Alara's expression shifted, guarded. Do what? This. Whatever this is. I've got a kid, Alara. I don't have room for complications. She stared at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. Okay. Okay? Yeah, I get it. She turned and walked away. Logan stood there, feeling like he'd just made a terrible mistake. Quack. The weekend was miserable. Logan threw himself into routines, errands, park, bedtime stories. But nothing felt right. Ava asked him twice if he was okay. He lied both times. Monday, Alara wasn't at his desk. Martin stopped by mid-morning. Alara's wrapping up her assessment remotely. She'll submit her report by end of week. Logan nodded. Got it. He should have felt relieved. Instead, he felt hollow. Tuesday, he got a text. Unknown. Number, I'm sorry if I pushed too hard. That wasn't fair. Logan stared at the screen. He knew it was her. He didn't know how she got his number, but he wasn't surprised. He typed back. Logan, you didn't push. I'm just not good at this. Alara. At what? Logan. Letting people in. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Alara. Maybe that's the problem. Logan set the phone down. He didn't respond, but he didn't delete the message either. Tickies. Wednesday evening, Logan picked Ava up from school and took her to the park. She played on the swings while he sat on a bench, half watching, half lost in thought. Daddy, push me. He stood, walked over, and gave her a gentle push. She laughed, kicked her legs, and went higher. Higher! He pushed harder. She squealed with delight. Are you happy, Daddy? The question caught him off guard. What? Are you happy? Logan slowed the swing. Of course I am, sweetheart. Why? Ava shrugged. You seem sad. He knelt down in front of her. I'm not sad. I promise. Okay. She smiled, then hopped off the swing. Can we get ice cream? Sure. They walked to the ice cream shop 2 blocks away. Ava got chocolate. Logan got nothing. On the drive home, she chattered about school, about her friends, about a book she wanted him to read. Logan listened, responded when appropriate, and tried to ignore the weight sitting on his chest. That night, after Ava went to bed, he sat on the couch and pulled out his phone. Logan, can we talk? The reply came almost immediately. Alara. When? Logan. Tomorrow. After work. Alara. Okay. Logan set the phone down and leaned back. He had no idea what he was going to say, but he knew he couldn't keep running. Not from this, not from her. Logan spent Thursday at work pretending everything was fine. He answered emails, coordinated shipments, fixed a routing issue that should have been handled 2 days ago. Normal things. Work things. Things that had nothing to do with the fact that he'd agreed to meet Alara after hours and had no idea what he was walking into. By 4:30, his focus was shot. He kept glancing at the clock, watching the minutes crawl. Martin stopped by his desk at one point, asked if everything was okay. Logan said yes. Martin didn't look convinced, but he didn't push. At 5:15, Logan shut down his computer, grabbed his jacket, and headed out. The coffee shop Alara had suggested was a 10-minute drive. He'd never been there before. It was tucked into a corner strip mall, the kind of place that looked like it survived on regulars and stubbornness. Logan parked, sat in the car for a full minute trying to settle his nerves, then got out. Alara was already inside, sitting at a small table near the window. She had a cup in front of her, untouched. When Logan walked in, she looked up, and something in her expression made his chest tighten. He ordered a coffee he didn't want, then joined her. Thanks for meeting me, he said. You texted. I wasn't going to ignore it. Logan wrapped his hands around the cup. It was too hot, but he didn't let go. I don't know how to do this. Do what? Talk. About this. Alara leaned back slightly. Then don't. I'm not asking you to explain yourself, Logan. I just wanted to see you. That made it worse somehow. Simpler and worse at the same time. I've spent the last 5 years making sure my life doesn't fall apart, Logan said slowly. And I'm good at it. I've got routines, systems, things that work. Ava's happy. That's what matters. I'm not arguing with that. But you said I was hiding. I said it looks like you're hiding. There's a difference. Logan met her eyes. What if you're right? Alara didn't answer immediately. She picked up her cup, took a sip, set it down again. Then I guess the question is whether you want to keep hiding. I don't know. That's fair. They sat in silence for a moment. Outside, the parking lot was emptying. A couple walked past the window, holding hands, laughing about something Logan couldn't hear. He watched them disappear around the corner, then looked back at Alara. Why do you care? He asked. I told you. I don't know yet. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. Logan exhaled. You're frustrating. So are you. He almost smiled. Almost. I can't promise you anything, he said. I've got Ava to think about, and I'm not... He stopped, searching for the right words. I'm not good at letting people in. I tried that once, and it didn't end well. I'm not asking for promises, Alara said quietly. I'm just asking if you're willing to try. Logan looked at her. Really looked at her. And for the first time in years, he let himself want something he couldn't control. Yeah, he said. I think I am. Alara smiled. Not the careful, measured smile she usually wore. A real one. Okay then. They talked for another hour. About nothing important. About everything. Alara told him about growing up in a family that had expectations she'd never quite lived up to. Logan told her about the year after Rachel left, when he'd barely held it together. They didn't solve anything. They just talked. And when Logan finally checked the time and realized it was almost 7, he felt lighter than he had in weeks. I need to get home, he said, standing. I know. Can I see you again? Outside of work? Alara hesitated, just for a second, but Logan caught it. What? He asked. Nothing. Yes, you can see me again. Logan didn't push. He said goodbye, walked to his car, and drove home with the radio off, thinking about that hesitation. About the way Alara's smile had faltered just before she answered. Something was there. Something she wasn't saying. But Logan had spent 5 years avoiding complications, and he was tired of it, so he decided not to care. At least not yet. The next 2 weeks blurred together in a way Logan hadn't experienced since before Ava was born. Work continued, routines held, but now there were gaps, small pockets of time where Alara appeared. Lunch on Tuesday, coffee on Thursday, a walk through the park on Saturday while Ava was at a birthday party. It wasn't dating, not officially. Logan didn't introduce her to Ava, didn't change his schedule, didn't let it disrupt the carefully constructed life he'd built. But it was something. And that something was starting to matter. Alara was different than he'd expected. Sharper in some ways, softer in others. She had opinions on everything, movies, food, politics, but she listened too, really listened. And when Logan talked about Ava, Alara didn't do the thing most people did, where they nodded and smiled and clearly didn't care. She asked questions, wanted to know what Ava liked, what made her laugh, what scared her. Does she ask about her mom? Alara asked one afternoon. They were sitting on a bench near the lake. It was unseasonably warm for late fall, and the water was dotted with ducks. Sometimes, Logan said, not as much as she used to. What do you tell her? The truth, that her mom wasn't ready to be a parent, and that's okay. People make choices. Do you believe that? Logan frowned. Believe what? That it's okay. He thought about it. I don't know. I guess I have to. Otherwise, I'd spend all my time being angry, and that doesn't help Ava. Alara nodded slowly. You're a good dad. I'm trying. That's the same thing. Logan wasn't sure he agreed, but he didn't argue. They sat in silence for a while, watching the ducks. Then Alara shifted, and her hand brushed against his. Logan didn't move. Neither did she. It was such a small thing, barely anything, but Logan felt it all the way through. Can I ask you something? Alara said after a while. Sure. Why did you agree to meet me that first time, at the coffee shop? Logan considered the question. Because I was tired of being careful. Are you still tired? Yeah. Alara turned to look at him. Good. Logan met her gaze, and something unspoken passed between them. He wanted to kiss her. The thought hit him suddenly, unexpectedly, and he almost leaned in. But then his phone buzzed. He pulled it out, checked the screen. A text from the birthday party mom. Ava was ready to be picked up. I have to go, Logan said, standing. Alara stood too. I know. I'll call you. Okay. Logan walked to his car, got in, and sat there for a moment before starting the engine. His hand was still warm where hers had touched it. He drove to the birthday party, picked up Ava, who was buzzing with sugar and excitement, and listened to her chatter all the way home. She talked about games and cake, and a magician who'd pulled a rabbit out of a hat. Logan asked questions, laughed at the right moments, and tried not to think about Alara. He failed. That night after Ava went to bed, Logan sat on the couch and stared at his phone. He wanted to text Alara, wanted to say something. But what? Thanks for sitting with me. I almost kissed you today. I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't want to stop. He typed out half a dozen messages and deleted them all. Finally, he settled on something simple. Logan. Today was good. The reply came a minute later. Alara. It was. Logan. When can I see you again? Alara. Sunday? Logan. Yeah. Sunday works. He set the phone down, leaned back, and exhaled. This was happening. Whatever this was, it was happening. And Logan had no idea how to feel about that. Sunday came faster than Logan expected. He dropped Ava off at his sister's place. She'd offered to take her for the afternoon, and drove to the address Alara had texted him. It was a small art gallery downtown, the kind of place Logan never would have thought to visit on his own. Alara was waiting outside. She was dressed casually, jeans, a sweater, her hair down for once. Logan had only ever seen it pulled back. It made her look younger, less guarded. You like art? Logan asked as they walked inside. Sometimes. Depends on the art. The gallery was quiet. Just a few other people wandering through. The walls were covered in paintings, abstract mostly. Bold colors, strange shapes. Logan didn't understand any of it, but Alara stopped in front of each one, studying them like they meant something. What do you see? Logan asked, stopping beside her. Alara tilted her head. Chaos, maybe, or freedom, I'm not sure. Chaos doesn't sound good. It's not always bad. They moved through the gallery slowly. Alara pointed out details Logan would have missed. The way one color bled into another, the texture of the brushstrokes, the emotion behind the composition. Logan mostly just listened. He liked hearing her talk, liked the way her voice softened when she was explaining something she cared about. They stopped in front of a painting near the back. It was darker than the others, all grays and blacks with just a sliver of red cutting through the center. This one's sad, Logan said. Or hopeful. How is that hopeful? Alara pointed at the red. Because there's still color. It's not gone. It's just buried. Logan looked at the painting again. You're reaching. Maybe. They stood there for a while, not saying anything. Then Alara turned to him. Can I tell you something? Yeah. She hesitated, and Logan saw that same flicker of uncertainty he'd noticed before, like she was deciding how much to say. I'm not supposed to be here, she said finally. Logan frowned. What do you mean? I mean, my life isn't mine. Not really. My family, they have plans, expectations, and I've been going along with them because it was easier than fighting. What kind of plans? Alara looked away. The kind that don't include choices. Logan's chest tightened. Are you saying you're engaged? Not yet, but it's coming. The words hit harder than Logan expected. He took a step back. Why didn't you tell me? Because it didn't feel real. Not when I'm with you. That's not fair, Alara. I know. Logan ran a hand through his hair. So what are we doing? What is this? I don't know. That's not good enough. Alara's eyes flashed. What do you want me to say, Logan? That I'm going to blow up my entire life for someone I've known for 3 weeks? That I'm ready to walk away from everything because we had a few nice conversations? I'm not asking you to do that. Then what are you asking? Logan didn't have an answer. He didn't know what he was asking. He just knew that the thought of Alara marrying someone else made him feel like he was standing on the edge of something he couldn't come back from. I don't know, he said quietly. They stood there, the silence stretching between them. Other people moved through the gallery, oblivious. Logan wanted to say something, wanted to fix this, but he didn't know how. Finally, Alara spoke. I should go. Alara? I'm sorry, Logan. I shouldn't have let this go this far. She turned and walked toward the exit. Logan watched her go, his feet rooted to the floor. Then, before he could stop himself, he followed. Wait! Alara stopped just outside the gallery. She didn't turn around. Logan caught up to her, stepped in front of her. Don't go. Logan, I don't care about your family's plans. I don't care about expectations or arrangements or any of it. I care about you. Alara's eyes were wet. You don't even know me. Then let me. She shook her head. It's not that simple. It could be. For you, maybe, but not for me. Logan reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. What do you want, Alara? She looked at him, and for the first time, Logan saw past the careful composure, saw the fear, the longing, the weight of carrying a life that wasn't hers. I want to choose, she whispered. Just once. I want to choose. Logan squeezed her hand. Then choose. Alara closed her eyes. When she opened them again, something had shifted. Okay. Okay? I'm choosing. Logan didn't know what that meant, didn't know what came next. But when Alara stepped closer and kissed him, none of it mattered. It was quick, almost hesitant, but it was real. And when she pulled back, Logan saw the same fear in her eyes that he felt in his chest. What happens now? He asked. I don't know. That's becoming a pattern with us. Alara almost smiled. Yeah, it is. They stood there on the sidewalk, holding hands, neither of them moving. Finally, Alara spoke. I need to figure some things out, with my family, with everything. Okay. But I want to see you again. When? Soon. Logan nodded. Soon. Alara let go of his hand and walked to her car. Logan watched her drive away, then got into his own car and sat there, staring at nothing. He'd just kissed a woman who was supposed to marry someone else. He'd just promised to wait for someone who might not come back. And he had no idea if he'd just made the best decision of his life or the worst. The next few days were torture. Logan went through the motions, work, Ava, routines, but his mind was somewhere else. Alara didn't text, didn't call. And Logan didn't reach out either, because he'd said he'd wait, and he meant it. But waiting was hell. Martin noticed, asked if Logan was feeling okay. Logan said yes. Martin gave him a look that said he didn't believe it, but didn't press. Wednesday afternoon, Logan's phone buzzed during a meeting. He ignored it. When the meeting ended, he checked. Alara, can we talk tonight? Logan's heart kicked up. Logan, yeah. Where? Alara, my place. I'll text you the address. Logan stared at the message. Her place. That felt significant, like she was letting him into something she'd kept closed. He texted back. Logan, what time? Alara, 7. Logan, I'll be there. He finished work in a daze, picked up Ava from school, and called his sister. Can you watch Ava tonight? Again? Logan, what's going on? I just need a few hours. His sister sighed. Fine, but you owe me. I know. He dropped Ava off at 6:30, ignored his sister's knowing look, and drove to the address Alara had sent. It was a condo on the east side of town, newer construction, nice but not flashy. Logan parked, took a breath, and headed inside. Alara answered on the first knock. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept. Come in. Logan stepped inside. The place was clean, minimalist, not much personality, like she hadn't really moved in yet. Do you want something to drink? Alara asked. I'm okay. She nodded, gestured toward the couch. They both sat. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Alara broke the silence. I talked to my family. Logan's chest tightened. And? They're not happy. I'm guessing that's an understatement. Alara almost smiled. Yeah. What did you tell them? That I'm not going through with it, the arrangement, the marriage. Any of it. Logan's breath caught. You're serious. I'm serious. Alara, I know what I'm giving up, Logan. I know what this costs, but I can't keep living someone else's life. Logan reached for her hand. What does that mean for us? Alara looked at him, and her eyes were raw. I don't know. I don't know what happens next. I don't know if my family will forgive me. I don't know if I'm making a huge mistake. But you're doing it anyway. Yeah, I am. Logan pulled her closer. You're sure? No, but I'm doing it anyway. He kissed her then. Not quick this time. Not hesitant. And when she kissed him back, Logan felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. They stayed like that for a long time, holding each other, not talking, just breathing. Finally, Alara pulled back. I need to tell you something else. Logan tensed. Okay. The family I was supposed to marry into, they're connected, powerful, and they're not going to just let this go. What does that mean? It means things might get complicated. How complicated? Alara hesitated. I don't know yet, but I wanted you to know what you're getting into. Logan looked at her, at the fear in her eyes. at the strength it took to walk away from everything she'd known. "I'm already in," he said. Alara exhaled, and some of the tension left her shoulders. "Okay. Okay." They sat in silence for a while longer. Then Logan checked the time. "I need to pick up Ava." "I know." He stood, and Alara walked him to the door. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For not running." Logan kissed her forehead. "I'm done running." He left, drove to his sister's place, and picked up Ava. She was half asleep, clutching a stuffed bear his sister had given her. Logan carried her to the car, buckled her in, and drove home. That night, after Ava was asleep, Logan sat on the couch and thought about what Alara had said. Things might get complicated. He didn't doubt it. But for the first time in years, Logan wasn't afraid of complicated. He was ready for it. Complicated arrived faster than Logan expected. The first sign came Thursday morning. Logan was at his desk, halfway through his second coffee, when Martin appeared looking like he'd swallowed something unpleasant. "My office, now." Logan followed, already running through possibilities. Budget cuts, downsizing, a screw-up he'd missed. But when Martin closed the door and sat down heavily, Logan knew it was worse than that. "I got a call this morning," Martin said, "from corporate. They're requesting a full audit of our operations." Logan frowned. "An audit? Why?" "They didn't say. Just that it needs to happen, and it needs to happen now." "That doesn't make sense. We just had a review. Alara's report came back clean." Martin rubbed his face. "I know, but the order came from high up, above my head, above yours." Logan's stomach twisted. "When does it start?" "Monday. They're sending a team." "A team?" "3 people, external auditors. They'll be here for 2 weeks, maybe more." Logan sat back. This wasn't normal. Audits didn't just materialize out of nowhere. Someone had requested this. Someone with influence. "Do you know who made the call?" Logan asked. Martin shook his head. "All I know is it came from one of our major clients, the kind we don't say no to." Logan's mind went immediately to Alara, to what she'd said about the family she was supposed to marry into. Powerful. Connected. Which client? Harrington Group. Logan's chest went cold. He'd heard that name before. Alara had mentioned it once, in passing. Her family did business with them. Or maybe they were part of them. He couldn't remember. "You okay?" Martin asked. Logan forced himself to focus. "Yeah, I'm fine." "Good, because I need you sharp for this. If they find anything at all, it's both our heads." Logan nodded. "Understood." He left Martin's office and went straight to the bathroom, locked himself in a stall, and pulled out his phone. "Logan, did your family have anything to do with Harrington Group?" The reply came almost immediately. Alara. "Why?" Logan. "Because they just ordered an audit of my company. Full team. 2 weeks. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again." Alara. "I'm coming over tonight. We need to talk." Logan stared at the screen. His hands were shaking. Logan. "Okay." He spent the rest of the day trying to work and failing. Every email felt like a trap. Every phone call sounded suspicious. By the time 5 o'clock came, Logan was wound so tight he could barely think straight. He picked up Ava, took her home, made dinner. She asked him 3 times if he was okay. He lied 3 times. At 7, his sister came to watch Ava. Logan didn't explain why, just said he needed to step out. "You're seeing someone," his sister said. "I'm not. You're a terrible liar." Logan grabbed his jacket. "I'll be back in a few hours." He drove to Alara's place. She answered the door before he could knock. "Come in." Logan stepped inside. Alara looked worse than she had the other night, dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back too tight. She was holding a glass of wine like it was the only thing keeping her upright. "Is it them?" Logan asked. Alara set the glass down. "Yes." "How do you know?" "Because I got a call from my father this afternoon. He wanted to make sure I understood the consequences of my decision." Logan's jaw tightened. "What did he say?" "That if I walked away from the arrangement, there would be repercussions. Not just for me, for anyone I cared about. So they're going after my job. They're sending a message that they can reach you, that nothing is off limits." Logan started pacing. "This is insane. We're talking about an audit, not..." It's not just an audit, Logan. They'll find something, or they'll create something. It doesn't matter. The point is to make you understand what being with me costs. Logan stopped, turned to face her. So what are you saying? That we should stop seeing each other? I'm saying you should think about what you're risking. You've got Ava, a stable job, a life that works, and I'm bringing chaos into it. I don't care. You should. Logan crossed the room, took her hands. Listen to me. I spent 5 years building a life that was safe, predictable, and it worked. But it also felt like I was holding my breath the entire time, waiting for something to go wrong. You know what I realized? What? I was already suffocating. At least this way, I'm choosing what I'm fighting for. Alara's eyes filled. They're going to make this ugly. Let them. Logan, I mean it. I'm not walking away, not from you, not because someone wants to scare me. Alara pulled her hands free, turned away. You don't understand what they're capable of. Then tell me. She was silent for a long moment. Then she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. The man I was supposed to marry, his name is Garrett Harrington. His family owns half the commercial real estate in the state. They have connections in every industry, every level of government. When they want something, they get it. And when someone crosses them, they make sure that person regrets it. And your family? My family does business with them. Has for decades. The arrangement wasn't just about marriage. It was about merging influence, power. My father spent years building that relationship, and I just torched it. Logan absorbed that. How bad is it going to get? I don't know, but the audit is just the start. They'll look for anything they can use against you. Past mistakes, financial problems, anything. Logan thought about his life. He paid his bills on time, had no criminal record. His credit was decent, but everyone had something, some small crack that could be pried open. What about you? Logan asked. What are they doing to you? They cut me off financially. My father called my bank, froze my accounts. I've got enough cash to last a few weeks, maybe a month if I'm careful. After that, she trailed off. Logan felt anger rise in his chest. That's insane. That's leverage. So what are you going to do? Alara looked at him. I don't know. Find a job, I guess. Figure it out. You're a consultant. You've got experience. Someone will hire you. Not if Harrington Group makes a few calls. They can blacklist me from every major firm in the region. Logan pulled out his phone. What are you doing? Alara asked. Calling my sister. You're staying with me until we figure this out. Logan, I can't. You can. I've got a spare room. It's not much, but it's something. What about Ava? Logan hesitated. He hadn't thought that far ahead. Bringing Alara into his home meant introducing her to Ava, meant crossing a line he'd been careful not to cross. But what choice did he have? I'll explain it to her, Logan said. She'll understand. She's 6. She's smart. Alara shook her head. This is too much. I can't ask you to do this. You're not asking. I'm offering. Alara stared at him, and Logan saw the conflict in her eyes. Pride fighting against necessity, fear fighting against hope. Finally, she nodded. Okay, but just for a little while, until I get back on my feet. As long as you need. Logan called his sister, told her he'd be later than expected. Then he helped Alara pack a bag. It didn't take long. She didn't have much. They drove back to Logan's place in silence. When they pulled into the driveway, Logan turned to her. You sure about this? Alara looked at the house. Small, ordinary, nothing like the life she'd left behind. No, but I'm doing it anyway. They went inside. Logan's sister took one look at Alara and raised an eyebrow. So you are seeing someone? Not now, Karen, Karen smirked. Ava's asleep. I'll get out of your way. She left, and Logan showed Alara to the spare room. It was small, barely furnished. A bed, a dresser, a lamp. It's not much, Logan said. It's perfect. Alara set her bag down, and for a moment they just stood there. Thank you, she said. Logan nodded. Get some rest. We'll figure out the rest tomorrow. He left, closed the door, and leaned against the wall in the hallway. His heart was pounding. He just invited a woman his daughter didn't know to live in their house. A woman being targeted by one of the most powerful families in the state. What the hell was he doing? But even as the doubt crept in, Logan knew he wasn't going to change his mind. He was in this now, all the way. The next morning, Logan woke up early. He made coffee, started breakfast, and tried to figure out how to explain Alara's presence to Ava. He didn't get the chance. Ava wandered into the kitchen at 7, rubbing her eyes, and froze when she saw Alara sitting at the table. "Who's that?" Logan crouched down to her level. "This is Alara. She's a friend of mine. She's going to be staying with us for a little while." Ava looked at Alara, then back at Logan. "Why?" "Because she needs a place to stay, and we have an extra room." Ava frowned. "Is she your girlfriend?" Logan hesitated. He hadn't expected that question this early. Alara stepped in. "I'm your dad's friend, and I promise I'm not here to get in the way. I just need a little help right now." Ava studied her for a long moment. Then she nodded. "Okay. Do you like pancakes?" Alara smiled. "I love pancakes. Daddy makes the best ones." "I believe it." Logan exhaled. That had gone better than expected. He made pancakes. Ava chattered through breakfast, asking Alara 100 questions. "What's your favorite color? Do you have a dog? Have you ever been to Disneyland?" Alara answered each one patiently, and by the time breakfast was over, Ava had decided Alara was acceptable. Logan took Ava to school, then headed to work. The office felt different, tense. People were whispering. Martin was locked in his office on back-to-back calls. Logan tried to focus, but his mind kept circling back to the audit, to Harrington Group, to the fact that someone was actively trying to destroy him. At lunch, he got a text. Unknown. Number, you should reconsider your choices. This doesn't end well for you. Logan stared at the message. Then he deleted it. Another text came an hour later. Unknown number. Your daughter goes to Maplewood Elementary, doesn't she? Cute school. Logan's blood went cold. He stood up, grabbed his phone, and called the school. Maplewood Elementary, how can I help you? This is Logan Hayes. I need to speak to the principal, now. Is everything okay, Mr. Hayes? Just put me through. The principal came on the line. Logan explained that he'd received a threatening message mentioning the school. The principal assured him they'd increase security, keep an eye on Ava. Logan thanked her and hung up. Then he texted Alara. Logan, they just threatened Ava. The reply was immediate. Alara, I'm coming to your office. Logan, no, stay at the house. I'll handle this. Alara, Logan, please, just stay there. He didn't wait for a response. He grabbed his jacket, told Martin he had a family emergency, and left. He drove to the police station, explained the situation. The officer took his statement, said they'd look into it, but Logan could tell they didn't think it was serious. Just some prank. Nothing to worry about. Logan left feeling worse than when he'd arrived. By the time he picked up Ava from school, he was wound so tight he could barely speak. He checked her over, made sure she was okay, then took her home. Alara was waiting in the living room. Is she okay? Alara asked. She's fine. She doesn't know anything happened. Logan, I'm so sorry. I never thought they'd... It's not your fault. It is. They're doing this because of me. Logan set Ava up with a snack in the kitchen, then pulled Alara into the hallway. Listen to me. This isn't on you. They're the ones making threats. They're the ones crossing lines. And you're the one paying for it. I knew what I was getting into. Alara's eyes were wet. I should leave. If I'm not here, maybe they'll back off. Or maybe they'll just find another way to come after me. You leaving doesn't fix this. Then what does? Logan didn't have an answer. That night, after Ava went to bed, Logan sat on the couch with Alara. They didn't talk, just sat there, the weight of everything pressing down. Finally, Alara spoke. I need to confront them. Logan looked at her. What? Garrett. My father. All of them. I need to make them understand that I'm not coming back, that threatening you won't change anything. That's a terrible idea. It's the only idea. They'll destroy you. They're already trying. Logan grabbed her hand. Then let them try. But you're not walking into that alone. Logan, I mean it. If you're doing this, I'm coming with you. Alara stared at him. You don't have to. I know, but I'm going to anyway. She leaned into him, and Logan wrapped his arm around her. When? He asked. Tomorrow night. There's a charity gala. My father will be there. Garrett, too. It's the kind of event where they can't make a scene. You think they'll listen? No, but at least they'll hear me. Logan nodded. Okay, we'll go. Alara pulled back, looked at him. Are you sure? No, but I'm doing it anyway. She almost smiled. That's becoming our thing. Yeah, it is. The next day crawled. Logan went to work, fielded more whispers, more tension. The audit team was set to arrive Monday. Martin was a wreck. Logan did his best to keep things running, but his mind was elsewhere. At 5, he left, picked up Ava, took her to Karen's for the night. You're asking a lot of favors lately, Karen said. I know. I'll explain later. You better. Logan drove home. Alara was already dressed. Black gown, hair done, makeup subtle but sharp. She looked like she belonged at a gala, like she'd never left that world. You clean up nice, Logan said. So do you. Logan glanced down at his suit. He'd bought it for a wedding 3 years ago and hadn't worn it since. It still fit, barely. Ready? Alara asked. Not even a little. They drove to the venue, a hotel downtown, the kind with chandeliers and valet parking and people who looked like they owned things. Logan felt out of place the moment they walked in. Alara, on the other hand, moved through the crowd like she'd been doing it her whole life. She nodded at a few people, ignored others. Logan stayed close. There, Alara said, nodding toward a group near the bar. Logan followed her gaze. A man in his 60s, silver hair, expensive suit. Next to him, a younger man, late 30s, sharp features, cold eyes. That's my father, Alara said. And that's Garrett. Logan's stomach twisted. You sure about this? No. They walked over. The conversation stopped when Alara approached. Her father's expression didn't change. Alara. Father. Garrett looked at Logan. And who's this? None of your business, Alara said. Her father's jaw tightened. You shouldn't be here. I'm here to tell you to back off. Back off? Garrett laughed. From what? From him. From his job. From his daughter. This is between us. Leave him out of it. Garrett exchanged a look with Alara's father. You think you can walk away from our arrangement and there won't be consequences? I already walked away. And you think that's the end of it? Alara stepped closer. It is. I'm done. You can threaten me all you want, but I'm not coming back. And if you keep going after him, I'll make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of people you are. Her father's expression darkened. Careful, Alara. Or what? You'll cut me off? You already did. You'll ruin my reputation? I don't care. Garrett smirked. What about his reputation? What about his daughter's safety? Logan stepped forward. He didn't plan to. Didn't think about it. He just moved. You threatened my daughter again, and I don't care who you are. I'll make you regret it. Garrett's smirk faded. Is that a threat? It's a promise. For a moment, no one spoke. The tension was thick enough to choke on. Then Alara's father turned to her. You've made your choice. Live with it. He walked away. Garrett followed, but not before giving Logan one last look. Alara exhaled. Her hands were shaking. Let's get out of here, Logan said. They left. Drove home in silence. When they pulled into the driveway, Alara finally spoke. I don't know if that helped or made things worse. Doesn't matter. It's done. They went inside. Logan poured them both a drink. They sat on the couch, not talking. Finally, Alara leaned into him. Thank you, she said. For what? For not running. Logan kissed the top of her head. I told you. I'm done running. They sat there for a long time. And for the first time in days, Logan felt like maybe, just maybe, they'd survive this. Monday arrived like a punch to the gut. Logan woke up at 5, couldn't fall back asleep, and spent an hour staring at the ceiling trying to prepare himself for what was coming. The audit team was scheduled to arrive at 9. 3 people. 2 weeks. Maybe more. He got up, made coffee, and found Alara already awake in the kitchen. She was dressed for work, or what looked like work. Slacks, blouse, her hair pulled back. She'd been applying to jobs all weekend. So far, nothing. You okay? She asked. Not really. You want me to come with you for moral support? Logan shook his head. You being there would just give them ammunition. Better if you stay here. Alara nodded, but Logan could see the guilt in her eyes. She blamed herself for this, for all of it. It's not your fault, he said for the 100th time. I know. She didn't believe it. Didn't believe. Logan got Ava ready for school, dropped her off, and drove to work with his stomach in knots. The parking lot was already full when he arrived. He walked inside and the tension hit him immediately. People were clustered in small groups, whispering. Martin was standing near the entrance to the conference room, looking like he'd aged 10 years overnight. "They're here," Martin said. Logan nodded. "Let's get this over with." The audit team was exactly what Logan expected. 2 men, 1 woman, all in their 40s, all wearing identical expressions of professional detachment. They introduced themselves, Robert, Jennifer, Kyle, and immediately started asking questions. They wanted access to everything: files, emails, shipment records, financial data. They wanted to interview employees, review processes, examine every decision Logan had made in the last 3 years. Logan cooperated. He had no choice. But he could feel them looking for something, probing, testing, waiting for him to slip. By lunch, his nerves were shot. He stepped outside, called Alara. "How's it going?" she asked. "They're tearing everything apart." "Have they found anything?" "Not yet, but they're looking." Alara was quiet for a moment. "Logan, if they do find something, they won't. I've been careful. Everyone makes mistakes." Logan leaned against the building. "Are you trying to make me feel better or worse?" "I'm trying to be realistic." "Well, stop. I need optimism right now." Alara almost laughed. "Okay, you're going to be fine. They won't find anything because there's nothing to find." "That's better." He went back inside. The afternoon was worse than the morning. Robert pulled him into a conference room, asked about a shipment from 2 years ago that had been delayed by 3 days. Logan explained the issue. A driver had called in sick, they'd scrambled to find a replacement. But Robert just made notes and moved on to the next question. It felt less like an audit and more like an interrogation. By the time 5 o'clock came, Logan was exhausted. He grabbed his jacket, headed for the door, and nearly ran into Jennifer. "Mr. Hayes, do you have a moment?" Logan stopped. "Sure. I noticed some inconsistencies in your routing logs from last year. Nothing major, but I'd like to go over them with you tomorrow." "What kind of inconsistencies?" "Just some discrepancies between projected delivery times and actual times. Probably just data entry errors, but we need to verify." Logan's chest tightened. "Okay. Tomorrow." Jennifer nodded and walked away. Logan stood there, trying to breathe. Data entry errors. That's all it was. Had to be. He drove home, picked up Ava from Karen's, and tried to act normal. Ava chattered about school, about a boy who'd pulled her hair at recess, about the spelling test she'd aced. Logan listened, responded, and felt like he was underwater. At home, Alara took one look at him and knew. Bad day? They found something, or they think they did. What? Routing discrepancies from last year. Probably nothing, but they're going to make it into something. Logan nodded. Alara set down the dish towel she'd been holding. Okay, we need to get ahead of this. How? Do you have records, documentation, anything that shows why those discrepancies happened? I don't know, maybe. I'd have to check. Then check. Tonight. Pull everything you can find, emails, logs, notes. If they're looking for inconsistencies, you need to be able to explain every single one. Logan looked at Ava, who was coloring at the kitchen table, oblivious. I can't. I need to put her to bed. I'll do it, Alara said. Logan hesitated. Alara had been staying with them for almost a week, but she and Ava still hadn't spent much time alone together. You sure? Yeah, go. I've got this. Logan kissed Ava on the head. Alara's going to help you get ready for bed tonight, okay? Ava looked up. Are you leaving? No, sweetheart. I just need to work for a little bit. Okay. Logan went to his home office, a glorified closet with a desk and a laptop, and started digging. He pulled up files from last year, searched through emails, cross-referenced shipment logs with delivery reports. It took him 2 hours, but he found what he was looking for. The discrepancies Jennifer had mentioned weren't errors. They were adjustments. Legitimate adjustments made because of weather delays, road closures, driver issues. Every single one was documented. Every single one had a reason. Logan compiled everything into a folder, printed copies, and felt some of the tension ease out of his shoulders. When he came out, the house was quiet. Ava's bedroom door was closed. Logan walked over, pushed it open slightly, and stopped. Elara was sitting on the edge of Ava's bed, reading. Ava was already asleep, curled up under her blanket, one hand clutching her stuffed bunny. Elara looked up, saw Logan, and smiled. She carefully set the book down, stood, and stepped into the hallway, pulling the door mostly closed behind her. "She's out," Elara whispered. "You read to her?" She insisted. "Apparently you do voices, and I don't measure up." Logan almost laughed. "Sorry." "Don't be. She's great." They walked back to the living room. Logan collapsed onto the couch. "Did you find what you needed?" Elara asked. "Yeah, everything's documented. They can't twist it into something it's not." "Good." Elara sat down next to him, and for a moment they just sat there, tired, worn down, but together. "Thank you," Logan said. "For what?" "For putting her to bed, for being here, for not running when this got hard." Elara leaned her head on his shoulder. "You keep saying that, but you're the one who didn't run." "We're both idiots then." "Yeah, we are." Logan kissed the top of her head. "I'm glad you're here." "Me too." The next day, Logan walked into the office with his folder of documentation. He found Jennifer, handed it over, and explained each discrepancy. She listened, took notes, and by the end of the conversation, Logan could tell she was disappointed. There was nothing there, nothing she could use. "Thank you for clarifying," Jennifer said. "I'll review these and follow up if I have additional questions." Logan nodded and walked away. The rest of the week passed in a similar pattern. The audit team dug, Logan provided answers, and slowly the pressure started to ease. By Friday, Robert pulled Martin aside and told him the preliminary findings were clean. They'd stay another week to finalize the report, but barring any surprises, the audit would likely come back favorable. Martin told Logan the news, and Logan felt like he could breathe for the first time in days. That night, he took Elara and Ava out for pizza. Ava was thrilled. She sat between them in the booth, talking nonstop, dipping her pizza in ranch dressing even though Logan told her not to. "She's going to get a stomachache," Logan muttered. Elara smiled. "Let her live. You're a bad influence." "Probably." Ava looked at Elara. "Are you going to stay with us forever?" The question caught them both off guard. Logan froze, mid-bite. Elara set down her slice. "I don't know, sweetheart," Elara said carefully. "Why do you ask?" Ava shrugged. "I like you being here. It's nice." Logan's chest tightened. He looked at Elara, and she looked back at him. "I like being here too," Elara said. Ava smiled and went back to her pizza. Later, after they'd put Ava to bed, Logan and Elara sat on the couch. "She asked a good question," Elara said. "Yeah, she did." "What's the answer?" Logan turned to face her. "I don't know. What do you want it to be?" Elara hesitated. "I want to stay, but I don't want to complicate things for you." "You already complicate things." "I mean more than I already do." Logan reached for her hand. "I want you to stay, not just until you get back on your feet. I want you to stay because I want you here." Elara's eyes filled. "Logan, I know it's fast. I know we're still figuring this out, but I don't care. I'm tired of being careful. I'm tired of second-guessing everything." Elara leaned in, kissed him. It was soft, tentative, like she was asking a question. Logan kissed her back, and it felt like an answer. When they pulled apart, Elara smiled. "Okay. Okay? I'll stay." Logan exhaled. "Good." They sat there for a while, just holding each other, and for the first time in weeks, Logan felt like maybe things were going to work out, but the universe had other plans. The following Monday, Logan arrived at work to find Martin waiting for him. "My office. Now." Logan's stomach dropped. "What happened?" Martin didn't answer, just walked. Logan followed. Inside the office, Robert was waiting. He didn't look happy. "Mr. Hayes, we need to discuss something that came to our attention over the weekend." Logan sat down. "Okay." Robert pulled out a folder. "We received an anonymous tip. Someone claimed you've been accepting kickbacks from one of our vendors." Logan's blood went cold. "That's not true." "I didn't say it was, but we're required to investigate." "Who made the claim?" "Anonymous, like I said." Logan's jaw tightened. "This is Harrington Group, isn't it?" Robert's expression didn't change. I'm not at liberty to discuss the source. Because it's them. They're the ones pushing this audit. They're the ones trying to destroy me. Martin leaned forward. Logan, if there's something you need to tell us, there's nothing to tell. I haven't taken a single dime from anyone. This is a setup. Robert made a note. We'll need to review all vendor communications, payments, contracts. If you're innocent, the records will prove it. Fine. Review whatever you want. Robert stood. We'll be in touch. He left. Martin stayed. Is it true? Martin asked. Logan looked at him. Are you seriously asking me that? I have to. No, it's not true. I've never taken a kickback. I've never done anything even close. Martin rubbed his face. Okay, I believe you. But Logan, this looks bad. Really bad. I know. If they find anything at all, I can't protect you. I understand. Martin nodded. Get me whatever you need to prove you're clean, and do it fast. Logan left the office, went to his desk, and immediately started pulling records. Every vendor contract, every payment authorization, every email exchange. He spent the entire day compiling documentation, and by the time 5 o'clock came, he had a file 3 inches thick. He took it home, showed it to Alara. They're claiming I took kickbacks. Alara's face went pale. From who? They didn't say, just that someone made an anonymous tip. It's Garrett, or my father, or both. I know. Alara started pacing. This is exactly what I was afraid of. They're not going to stop until they destroy you. Let them try. I've got documentation for everything. They can't fabricate evidence that doesn't exist. You don't know that. Logan grabbed her shoulders. Look at me. I didn't do anything wrong. The records will prove it. Alara's eyes were wet. What if they don't care about the records? What if they've already decided you're guilty? Then I'll fight it, but I'm not rolling over. Not for them, not for anyone. Alara pulled him close, and Logan held her, trying to believe his own words. The next 2 days were agony. Robert and his team combed through every document Logan had provided. They interviewed vendors, cross-referenced payments, looked for any sign of impropriety. They found nothing. Wednesday afternoon, Robert called Logan into the conference room. We've completed our review of the vendor allegations. Logan held his breath. There's no evidence to support the claim. All payments were properly authorized, documented, and within standard industry practices. Logan exhaled. So I'm cleared? Of this particular allegation, yes. What does that mean? Robert hesitated. It means we're closing this line of inquiry, but the audit itself will continue for another week. Logan wanted to scream. You've been here 2 weeks already. You haven't found anything. What are you still looking for? We have a job to do, Mr. Hayes. We'll complete it thoroughly. Logan left the room, went to the bathroom, and splashed cold water on his face. His hands were shaking. He pulled out his phone, texted Alara. Logan. They didn't find anything, but they're not done. Alara. How much longer? Logan. Another week. Maybe more. Alara. I'm sorry. Logan. Not your fault. He stared at the message, then deleted it and typed something else. Logan. I love you. He hit send before he could second-guess it. 3 dots appeared immediately. Alara. I love you too. Logan leaned against the sink and closed his eyes. Whatever happened next, at least he had that. The rest of the week dragged. The audit team continued their work, but the intensity had faded. They were going through the motions now, and Logan could tell they knew it. Friday afternoon, Robert pulled Martin and Logan into the conference room. We're wrapping up our assessment. Final report will be submitted to corporate by end of next week. And? Martin asked. And based on our findings, we're recommending no further action. Your operations are sound. A few minor inefficiencies we've noted, but nothing that requires intervention. Logan felt the weight lift off his chest. So we're clear? You're clear. Martin let out a breath. Thank you. Robert nodded. We'll be out of your way by Monday. He left. Martin turned to Logan. You did good, Hayes. I didn't do anything except my job. Exactly. Logan went back to his desk, sat down, and stared at his computer screen. It was over. The audit was over. He'd survived. But he didn't feel relieved. He felt angry. because Harrington Group had tried to destroy him and they'd failed. But that didn't mean they were done. It just meant they'd try something else. And Logan was tired of waiting for the next attack. That night, after Ava went to bed, Logan sat down with Alara. I want to go after them. Alara looked up. What? Harrington Group. Your father, Garrett. I'm tired of playing defense. I want to hit back. Logan, that's insane. Is it? They've been coming after me for weeks, threatening my job, threatening Ava. I'm done sitting here and taking it. And what exactly do you think you can do? They have money, power, connections. I have the truth. I have documentation that they tried to sabotage me, that they made false allegations. Alara shook her head. That won't matter. They'll bury it. Bury you. Maybe. But at least I'll go down fighting. Alara stood, crossed her arms. You're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking perfectly clearly. They tried to destroy me because I'm with you, and they failed. But they're going to keep trying. So either I sit here and wait for the next attack, or I do something about it. Like what? Logan didn't have an answer. Not yet. But he was going to find one. Alara sat back down and Logan could see the fear in her eyes. Not for herself. For him. Promise me you won't do anything stupid, she said. I can't promise that. Logan, I'll be careful. But I'm not letting them win. Alara reached for his hand. Then we do this together. Logan looked at her. You sure? No, but I'm doing it anyway. Logan smiled. That really is our thing. Yeah, it is. They sat there, holding hands, and Logan felt something shift. He'd spent 5 years avoiding risks, playing it safe, building a life that was predictable and controlled. But predictable wasn't enough anymore. He was ready to fight. Fighting back turned out to be harder than Logan expected. He spent the weekend trying to figure out his next move. He had documentation of the audit, proof that Harrington Group had orchestrated the whole thing, evidence of the anonymous tip that had nearly destroyed his career. But evidence didn't mean anything if no one was willing to listen. Alara helped him strategize. They sat at the kitchen table after Ava went to bed, sorting through papers, making lists, trying to figure out who they could go to. A lawyer seemed like the obvious choice, but lawyers cost money, and Logan's savings were already stretched thin. What about the media? Alara suggested. Local news. Someone who'd be interested in a story about corporate intimidation. Logan considered it. That's risky. It could backfire. Make me look like I'm trying to get attention. Or it could put pressure on them, make it harder for them to come after you again. Maybe. Logan didn't sound convinced, and Alara could tell. What are you afraid of? She asked. Logan looked up. That I'll make it worse. That I'll poke the bear, and they'll come back twice as hard. That I'll put Ava in danger. Alara reached across the table, took his hand. You're already in danger. They've already shown they're willing to go after you. Staying quiet doesn't make you safer. Logan knew she was right, but knowing it and accepting it were two different things. Monday morning, Logan went to work with a plan. He was going to talk to Martin, explain what had happened, ask for help navigating the situation. Martin wasn't a fighter, but he was reasonable. Maybe he'd have ideas. Logan found him in his office, door open, hunched over his computer. You got a minute? Martin looked up. Sure, what's up? Logan closed the door, sat down. I need to talk to you about the audit. Martin's expression shifted, guarded. What about it? It wasn't random. Harrington Group requested it specifically because I'm involved with someone they wanted to control. They tried to sabotage me. Martin leaned back in his chair. That's a serious accusation. It's true. I've got proof. The anonymous tip about kickbacks? That came from them. Can you prove that? Not directly, but the timing is too convenient. The audit happens the same week Alara breaks off her engagement to Garrett Harrington. Martin rubbed his face. Logan, even if that's true, what do you want me to do about it? I want you to back me up. If I go public with this, I need people who'll confirm what happened. Go public? Martin's voice rose. Are you out of your mind? You want to accuse one of our biggest clients of corporate sabotage? I want to tell the truth. The truth doesn't pay our salaries. Harrington Group does. Logan felt his chest tighten. So you won't help? I can't help.
Logan, I sympathize. I do. But if you go after them, you're on your own, and you'll probably lose your job in the process. Logan stood. Got it. Logan? No, I understand. Thanks for your time.
He left before Martin could say anything else. Logan spent the rest of the day feeling like the walls were closing in. He'd hoped Martin would be an ally. Instead, he was alone. At lunch, he got a call from an unknown number. He almost didn't answer. Then he did. Mr. Hayes? Yeah. This is Daniel Reeves. I'm an attorney. I represent several individuals who've had disputes with Harrington Group. Logan's pulse quickened. How did you get my number? I have connections, and I've been following your situation. The audit, the allegations. I think we should talk. About what? About holding them accountable. Logan glanced around the office. People were eating lunch, chatting, oblivious. I can't talk right now. Then meet me tonight, 6 o'clock. There's a coffee shop on Elmwood Street. You know it? Yeah. I'll be there. The line went dead. Logan stared at his phone. Part of him wanted to ignore it. This felt like a trap. But another part, the part that was tired of being pushed around, wanted to hear what Reeves had to say. That evening, Logan told Alara he had a meeting. He didn't give details. He wasn't sure he trusted this yet. The coffee shop was nearly empty when Logan arrived. Reeves was sitting in the corner, mid-40s, graying hair, dressed like he'd just come from court. He stood when Logan approached. Mr. Hayes, thanks for coming. Logan sat down. Who are you? I told you, I'm an attorney. That's not what I mean. Why do you care about Harrington Group? What's your angle? Reeves smiled slightly. Direct. I like that. My angle is that I've spent the last 5 years building cases against them. They've destroyed a lot of people, ruined careers, bankrupted businesses, crushed anyone who got in their way. And they've gotten away with it because no one's been willing to stand up to them. So you want me to be the one who does? I think you already are. Logan leaned back. What do you know about my situation? Enough. I know Alara Quinn walked away from an arranged marriage. I know Harrington Group retaliated by going after you. I know they orchestrated an audit designed to find dirt that didn't exist. And I know they failed. How do you know all that? Reeves pulled out a folder, slid it across the table. Because you're not the first. They've done this before. Different targets, same playbook. Logan opened the folder. Inside were documents, emails, financial records, testimonies from people who'd been targeted by Harrington Group. Some had lost their jobs. Others had been blacklisted from entire industries. One had ended up bankrupt. These people, Logan said slowly, did any of them fight back? A few tried. Most didn't have the resources. Or the courage. Logan looked up. And you think I do? I think you've already proven you do. You survived their audit. That's more than most people can say. Logan closed the folder. What do you want from me? I want your testimony, your documentation, your willingness to go on record about what they did. If we can build a case, get enough people to come forward, we can take them down. Or they'll crush me. Maybe. But at least you'll go down swinging. Logan thought about Alara, about Ava, about the life he'd built that was already hanging by a thread. I need to think about it. Reeves nodded. Fair enough. You've got my number. Call me when you're ready. Logan left the coffee shop, got in his car, and sat there for a long time. His phone buzzed. A text from Alara. Alara, where are you? Logan. On my way home. He started the car and drove. When he got home, Alara was waiting. Ava was asleep. Logan sat down next to her on the couch and told her everything. About Reeves, about the folder, about the choice he was facing. Alara listened without interrupting. When he finished, she was quiet for a long time. What do you want to do? She finally asked. I don't know. Part of me wants to fight, but the other part thinks I should just let it go. Move on. We survived. That should be enough. Should it? Logan looked at her. What do you think? Alara exhaled. I think they'll keep doing this to other people, and if no one stops them, they'll get away with it forever. So you think I should testify? I think you should do what feels right. But yeah, I think you should fight. Logan leaned forward, elbows on his knees. What if I lose? Then at least you tried. Logan turned to face her.
What about you? If I do this, they'll come after you too. They already came after me. I'm still here. Logan reached for her hand. You're sure? No? But I'm with you either way. Logan kissed her. I love you. I love you too. The next day, Logan called Reeves. I'm in. Good. I'll start putting together the case. I'll need everything you've got. Documentation, emails, records of every interaction with the audit team. You'll have it by tomorrow. Logan spent the next week compiling everything. Alara helped, sorting through files, organizing documents, making sure nothing was missed. It was exhausting, but it also felt like they were doing something, fighting back instead of just surviving.
2 weeks later, Reeves filed a lawsuit, not just against Harrington Group, but against Garrett personally. The allegations were clear: corporate intimidation, abuse of power, wrongful interference. Logan's name was on the filing. So were the names of 3 other people who'd been targeted. The news broke on a Thursday. Local media picked it up first, then regional outlets. By Friday, it was everywhere. Logan's phone didn't stop ringing. Reporters wanted interviews. Colleagues wanted to know if it was true. Martin called him into his office, looking angrier than Logan had ever seen him. You should have told me you were doing this. Would it have changed anything? Martin didn't answer. I'm not apologizing, Logan said. They came after me. I'm defending myself. By dragging this company into a lawsuit? The company isn't named, just Harrington Group. We do business with them, Logan. This affects us. Then maybe we shouldn't do business with people who destroy lives for sport. Martin's jaw tightened. You're suspended, pending review. Logan felt the floor drop out from under him. You're serious? I don't have a choice. Corporate's orders. Of course it is. Logan grabbed his jacket, walked out, and didn't look back. At home, Alara was waiting. She saw his face and knew immediately. They suspended you. Yeah. I'm sorry. Logan sat down, ran his hands through his hair. I knew this could happen. I just didn't think it'd be this fast. What are you going to do? I don't know. Find another job, I guess. Except no one's going to hire me now. Not with a lawsuit hanging over my head. Alara sat down next to him. Then we'll figure it out, together. Logan looked at her. You're not working either. We're both unemployed. How are we supposed to pay bills? Take care of Ava? We'll manage. How? Alara didn't have an answer. Neither did Logan. That night, after Ava went to bed, Logan sat on the couch staring at nothing. Alara brought him a glass of water, sat down next to him. I shouldn't have done this, Logan said quietly. You did the right thing. Did I? I've got no job, no income. I'm probably going to lose this house. And for what? To prove a point? To stand up for yourself. To show Ava that sometimes you have to fight for what's right, even when it's hard. Logan looked at her. You really believe that? Yeah, I do. Logan closed his eyes. I'm scared. Me too. They sat there holding each other, and Logan realized something. He'd spent 5 years building a life that was safe, predictable, controlled, and in the span of 2 months, it had all fallen apart. But he wasn't alone. He had Alara. He had Ava. And maybe that was enough. The lawsuit took months to unfold. Reeves was relentless, building the case piece by piece. Other victims came forward, adding their testimonies. The evidence piled up, and slowly the narrative shifted. Harrington Group tried to fight back. They issued statements denying the allegations, hired expensive lawyers, threatened countersuits. But the truth was too strong, too documented, too undeniable. Logan found work eventually, nothing glamorous, a small logistics company that didn't care about the lawsuit. The pay was less than what he'd been making, but it was enough. Alara found freelance consulting work, slowly rebuilding her reputation outside her family's influence. It wasn't easy. Some days were harder than others. Bills piled up. Stress mounted. But they made it work. Ava adjusted better than Logan expected. She asked questions sometimes. Why Daddy wasn't working at his old job. Why Alara was staying with them permanently now. And Logan answered honestly. Not with all the details, but with enough truth that Ava understood. 8 months after the lawsuit was filed, Harrington Group settled. They didn't admit wrongdoing, but they paid damages to everyone who'd been targeted. Logan got enough to cover his legal fees and put a little in savings. More importantly, the settlement included a clause preventing them from retaliating further. It was over. Logan got the call from Reeves on a Tuesday afternoon. He was at work when his phone rang. "It's done," Reeves said. They settled.
Logan stepped outside, leaned against the building. "How much?" Reeves told him the number. It wasn't life-changing, but it was something. "Thank you," Logan said. "You did the hard part. I just filed the paperwork." Logan hung up, stood there for a moment, then called Alara. They settled. "Are you serious?" "Yeah," Alara exhaled. "It's really over?" "It's really over."
That night, Logan picked up Ava from school and took her to the park. It was early fall, the leaves just starting to turn. Ava ran ahead, climbed onto the swings, and called for him to push her. Logan walked over, gave her a gentle push. She laughed, kicked her legs, went higher. "Daddy?" "Yeah, sweetheart. Are you happy now?" Logan thought about the question, about everything they'd been through, the fear, the uncertainty, the moments when he'd thought they wouldn't make it.
"Yeah," he said. "I am." Ava smiled. "Good." Logan pushed her higher, and for the first time in months, he felt the weight lift. When they got home, Alara was cooking dinner. She'd been doing that more lately, testing recipes, trying to find things Ava would actually eat. The kitchen smelled like garlic and tomatoes. "Smells good," Logan said. "It's just pasta." "Still good?" They ate together. Ava chattered about school, about a project she was working on, about a friend who'd invited her to a sleepover. Logan and Alara listened, asked questions, and for a moment, everything felt normal. After dinner, Logan helped Ava with her homework while Alara cleaned up. Then they put Ava to bed together. Alara read while Logan did the voices. Ava laughed, demanded an encore, and eventually drifted off. Logan and Alara stood in the doorway, watching her sleep. "She's amazing," Alara said quietly. "Yeah, she is." They went to the living room, sat on the couch. Alara leaned into Logan, and he wrapped his arm around her. "I've been thinking," Alara said. "About what?" "About us. About what comes next." Logan looked at her. "What do you want to come next?" Alara smiled. "I want this. All of it. The messy mornings. The homework battles. The dinners that don't turn out right. I want a life with you and Ava." Logan's chest tightened. "You're sure?" "Yeah, I'm sure." "Even after everything?" "Especially after everything." Logan kissed her. "Then let's do it. Let's build something real." "Okay." They sat there, holding each other, and Logan realized something he should have known all along. Safety wasn't about avoiding risks. It was about knowing that even when things fell apart, you had people who'd help you put them back together. He'd spent 5 years trying to protect Ava from uncertainty, from disappointment, from getting hurt. But life didn't work that way. You couldn't control everything. You couldn't predict what would go wrong. All you could do was show up, be honest, fight for what mattered, and trust that love was enough to carry you through. 6 months later, Logan stood in front of a mirror, adjusting his tie. His hands were shaking. Karen appeared behind him, smacked his shoulder. "You look fine. Stop fidgeting." "I'm not fidgeting. You're totally fidgeting." Logan exhaled. "I'm nervous. You're getting married, not going to war." "Feels like the same thing," Karen laughed. "She's good for you, you know, Alara. She makes you less uptight." "I'm not uptight." "You're extremely uptight, or you were. You're better now." Logan turned to face her. "Thanks for being here. Where else would I be? You're my brother. Besides, someone has to make sure you don't pass out before the vows." Logan smiled. "Fair point." The wedding was small, just close friends and family. They'd chosen a park near the lake where Logan and Alara had sat months ago, where she'd told him about the life she was supposed to have and the one she was choosing instead. Ava was the flower girl. She took her job very seriously, scattering petals with intense focus. When she reached the end of the aisle, she looked back at Logan and gave him a thumbs up. Logan almost laughed. Then the music changed, and Alara appeared. She wasn't wearing a traditional gown. Just a simple dress, cream-colored, her hair down. She looked beautiful. But more than that, she looked happy. She walked toward him, and Logan felt everything else fade. The months of fighting, the fear, the uncertainty. None of it mattered anymore. When she reached him, she took his hands. "You ready?" she whispered. "Yeah." "You?" "Yeah." The ceremony was short.
They'd written their own vows. Logan went first. I spent a long time thinking love was something you had to protect, something fragile that could break if you weren't careful. But you taught me that love is stronger than that. It's not about avoiding risks or keeping things safe. It's about choosing someone every day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. I choose you, Alara. Today. Tomorrow. Always. Alara's eyes were wet. She squeezed his hands, took a breath, and spoke. I grew up believing my life wasn't mine, that I had to follow a path someone else chose. But you showed me what it means to choose for myself, to build something real. You didn't save me, Logan. You just stood beside me while I figured out how to save myself. And that's what love is, not rescuing someone, just being there. I choose you too, every single day. They exchanged rings. The officiant pronounced them married. Logan kissed Alara, and the small crowd cheered. Ava ran up, threw her arms around both of them. We're a family now. Logan picked her up, held her close. Alara wrapped her arms around them both. Yeah, kiddo, we are. The reception was at Logan's house, their house now. They'd rearranged the living room, set up tables, strung lights in the backyard. It wasn't fancy, but it was theirs. People ate, danced, told stories. Ava stayed up way past her bedtime, running around with the other kids. Logan and Alara sat on the back porch, watching the chaos unfold. This is perfect, Alara said. It's messy. That's what makes it perfect. Logan smiled. Yeah, I guess it is. They sat in silence for a while, just being. Then Alara spoke. Do you ever regret it, fighting back? Logan thought about the question, about the job he'd lost, the months of uncertainty, the fear that had kept him up at night. No, I don't. Really? Really. Because if I hadn't, I'd still be that person who was too scared to take a risk. And I wouldn't have us, this life. Alara leaned her head on his shoulder. I'm glad you fought. Me too. They stayed there until the last guest left. Then they cleaned up together, Logan, Alara, and a very tired Ava who kept insisting she could help even as she yawned. Finally, they put Ava to bed. She was asleep before they finished tucking her in. Logan and Alara stood in the doorway, watching her. She's going to be okay, Alara said. Yeah, she is. We all are. Logan turned to face her. You think so? I know so. They went to their room. Alara's stuff had been slowly migrating from the spare room over the past few months, and now it was officially theirs. Logan sat on the edge of the bed, suddenly exhausted. Alara sat next to him. Long day. Best day, she smiled. Yeah, it was. Logan lay back and Alara curled up next to him. They didn't talk, didn't need to. They just held each other. And Logan realized that this quiet moment at the end of a long, imperfect, beautiful day was everything he'd been searching for. Not safety, not predictability, not control. Just love. Messy, complicated, worth fighting for love. And that was enough. A year later, Logan stood in the kitchen making pancakes. It was Saturday morning, and Ava was at the table doing homework she should have finished yesterday. Alara was on a work call in the other room, her voice drifting through the house as she talked someone through a logistics problem. It was ordinary, routine, nothing special. And it was perfect. Ava looked up from her math worksheet. Daddy, can Alara help me with this? You're bad at fractions. I'm not bad at fractions. You kind of are. Logan flipped a pancake. Fine. Ask Alara. Ava ran off. Logan heard her knock on the office door, heard Alara say, hang on a sec, heard the two of them talking through the problem. Logan plated the pancakes, poured juice, and set the table. A few minutes later, Alara and Ava emerged. All done, Ava announced. Alara's way better at fractions than you. Noted. They sat down, ate together. Ava talked about a field trip coming up. Alara mentioned a new client. Logan listened, chimed in when appropriate, and felt the kind of contentment he'd spent years chasing and never quite found. Until now. After breakfast, Ava wanted to go to the park. They all went. Logan, Alara, Ava. The weather was perfect. Ava ran ahead, climbed on everything, made friends with kids she'd never met before. Logan and Alara sat on a bench, watching. She's so much like you, Alara said. She's way braver than me.
Because you showed her how to be. Logan looked at Alara. We showed her. Alara smiled. Yeah, we did. They sat there holding hands, and Logan thought about everything they'd been through, the fear, the fighting, the moments when he'd thought they wouldn't make it. But they had.
Not because everything went smoothly, not because they avoided hardship, but because they'd chosen each other every single day, even when it was hard, especially when it was hard. And that, Logan realized, was the whole point. Life wasn't about building walls to keep out uncertainty. It was about finding people who'd stand with you when the walls came down. It was about fighting for what mattered. It was about love that wasn't perfect, but was real. And it was about teaching your daughter that courage wasn't the absence of fear. It was choosing to move forward anyway. Logan squeezed Alara's hand. She squeezed back. Ava called from the swings, demanding they watch her go higher. Logan and Alara stood, walked over, and pushed her together. And in that moment, with the sun shining and his daughter laughing and the woman he loved standing beside him, Logan understood something he'd spent years missing. This was it. This was everything. Not a life without problems, but a life worth fighting for. And he wouldn't trade it for anything. Fighting back turned out to be messier than Logan had imagined, but he'd already made the choice, so there was no point second-guessing it now. He spent the weekend after his conversation with Alara organizing everything he had. Documentation from the audit, email threads, records of every interaction with the audit team, the anonymous tip about kickbacks, the timeline of events that made it crystal clear this wasn't random, it was orchestrated. Alara helped him sort through it all, sitting cross-legged on the living room floor with papers spread around her like some kind of chaotic war room. Ava wandered through at one point, asked what they were doing, and Logan told her they were working on something important. She accepted that without question and went back to her cartoons. This is a lot, Alara said, holding up a stack of printed emails. Yeah, I'm thorough. Obsessive is more accurate. Logan almost smiled. Same thing. By Sunday night, they had everything compiled. Logan sat back, stared at the pile, and felt the weight of what he was about to do settle on his chest. You don't have to go through with this, Alara said quietly. Logan looked at her. You said I should fight. I said you should do what feels right. If you're having second thoughts, I'm not. I'm just scared. That's allowed. Logan reached for her hand. What if this ruins everything? What if I lose my job and can't find another one? What if they come after Ava? Then we'll deal with it. Together. Logan squeezed her hand. You keep saying that. Because I mean it. He pulled her close, held her for a long moment. Then he grabbed his phone and called Daniel Reeves. Reeves answered on the second ring. Mr. Hayes, I was hoping you'd call. I'm in. I've got everything you need. When do you want to meet? Tomorrow. My office. 10 o'clock. I'll be there? Logan hung up and exhaled. It's done, he said. Alara nodded. Yeah, it is. They sat there in the quiet, and Logan tried not to think about all the ways this could go wrong. The next morning, Logan called in sick to work. He hated lying, but he couldn't exactly tell Martin he was meeting with a lawyer to build a case against one of their biggest clients. He dropped Ava at school, then drove to Reeves's office on the other side of town. The building was older, a little run down, but Reeves's office itself was surprisingly organized. Shelves lined with legal texts, a desk covered in case files, and a wall of framed photos. Reeves shaking hands with people Logan didn't recognize, standing in front of courthouses, holding up settlement checks. Mr. Hayes, Reeves said, standing to shake his hand. Good to see you again. You too. Logan set down the folder he'd brought, everything compiled and organized. Reeves flipped through it, his expression unchanging, but Logan could tell he was impressed. This is good. Very good. With this and the testimonies I already have, we can build a solid case. How long will it take? To file? A few weeks? To resolve? Could be months, could be longer. Harrington Group has deep pockets. They'll drag this out as long as they can. Logan's stomach twisted. And what happens to me in the meantime? That depends. Are you prepared to be in the spotlight? Because once this goes public, you will be. Media will want interviews. Harrington Group will try to discredit you. It's going to get ugly. How ugly? Reeves leaned back in his chair. They'll dig into your past. Look for anything they can use against you. Traffic tickets, unpaid bills, Anything that makes you look unreliable or dishonest.
I don't have anything like that. Everyone has something. The question is whether you're ready for them to find it. Logan thought about his life. He'd been careful, paid his bills on time, stayed out of trouble. The worst thing in his past was probably the year after Rachel left, when he'd been a mess and barely holding it together. But that was personal, private, not something anyone could use against him. At least, he hoped not. "I'm ready," Logan said.
Reeves nodded. "Good. I'll start drafting the complaint. We'll file within 2 weeks." Logan stood, shook Reeves' hand, and left. He sat in his car for a long time, staring at nothing. Then he drove to work. Martin was waiting when he walked in. "You're feeling better, I see." Logan set down his bag. "Yeah, just needed a morning." Martin's expression was unreadable. "My office. Now." Logan followed, already bracing himself. Inside, Martin closed the door and crossed his arms. "I got a call this morning from corporate. They want to know if there's any truth to the rumors that you're planning to sue Harrington Group." Logan's chest tightened. "Who told them that?" "Does it matter?" "Yeah, it does." Martin sighed. "Logan, I need you to be straight with me. Are you planning to sue them?" Logan met his eyes. "Yes." Martin's face went pale. "Are you out of your mind?" "Probably. Do you have any idea what this will do to the company, to your career?" "I know exactly what it'll do, but I'm doing it anyway." Martin ran a hand through his hair. "They're going to fire you." "I figured." "And you're okay with that?" Logan thought about it. Was he okay with it? No, he needed this job. He had a daughter to support, bills to pay, a life that depended on stability. But he was tired of being afraid. "I'm not okay with it," Logan said, "but I'm doing it anyway." Martin stared at him for a long moment. Then he shook his head. "You're suspended, effective immediately, pending a formal review." Logan nodded. "Understood." "I'm sorry, Logan, I really am, but I can't protect you from this." "I'm not asking you to." Logan grabbed his things and left. He didn't look back. At home, he told Alara what had happened. She listened without interrupting, and when he finished, she pulled him into a hug. "I'm sorry." "Don't be. I knew this was coming." "That doesn't make it easier." Logan held her tighter. "No, it doesn't." They stood there for a while, just holding each other. Then Ava came home from school, and Logan had to pull himself together. He made dinner, helped with homework, read stories, did all the normal things. And Ava didn't notice anything was wrong, which was exactly what Logan wanted. That night, after Ava went to bed, Logan sat on the couch with Alara. "What are we going to do?" he asked. "We'll figure it out. You'll find another job. No one's going to hire me once this lawsuit goes public." "Then you'll do something else. Freelance, consulting, something." Logan rubbed his face. "I don't know how to do anything else." Alara grabbed his hands. "Yes, you do. You're smart. You're capable. You've been running operations for 5 years. That translates to a lot of things." Logan wanted to believe her. He just wasn't sure he could. 2 weeks later, Reeves filed the lawsuit. The news broke the same day. Logan's phone exploded. Reporters calling, colleagues texting, people he hadn't spoken to in years reaching out to ask if it was true. He ignored most of them, but the calls from Ava's school, asking if everything was okay, those he answered. "Everything's fine," he told the principal. "Just some work stuff. Nothing to worry about." The principal didn't sound convinced, but she let it go. That evening, Logan sat down with Ava. "Sweetheart, I need to talk to you about something." Ava looked up from her coloring book. "Okay." "You know how Daddy's been working at his job for a long time?" "Yeah." "Well, Daddy's not going to be working there anymore." Ava frowned. "Why not?" Logan chose his words carefully. "Because sometimes grown-ups have disagreements, and Daddy had a disagreement with some people at work. So now I'm going to find a new job." "Are we going to be okay?" Logan's chest tightened. "Yeah, sweetheart. We're going to be fine." Ava studied him for a moment. Then she nodded. "Okay. Can I keep coloring?" "Yeah, you can keep coloring." Logan watched her go back to her book, and he marveled at how resilient she was, how much she trusted him. He just hoped he deserved that trust. The next few weeks were brutal. Harrington Group issued a statement denying all allegations and calling the lawsuit frivolous. Their lawyers filed motions to dismiss. The media picked apart every detail, and Logan found himself the subject of articles he never wanted to read. Some were supportive, others were skeptical. A few were outright hostile, painting him as a disgruntled employee looking for a payday. Logan stopped reading them. He focused on finding work instead. He sent out resumes, applied to jobs, reached out to contacts. Most didn't respond. The ones that did were polite but firm. They couldn't hire someone involved in active litigation. Logan's savings started to dwindle. He cut back on everything he could, canceled subscriptions, stopped eating out, bought the cheapest groceries. Alara picked up more freelance work, but it wasn't enough. They were burning through money faster than they were making it. One night, Logan sat at the kitchen table, staring at bills he couldn't pay. Alara sat down next to him. "How bad is it?" "Bad. We've got maybe 2 months before we're in real trouble. Then we'll figure something out." "Like what?" Alara didn't answer, because there wasn't an answer. Logan leaned back, closed his eyes. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have dragged you into this." "You didn't drag me. I chose this. We both did." "That doesn't make it easier." Alara reached for his hand. "No, but it means we're not doing it alone." Logan opened his eyes, looked at her. "I don't know if I can keep doing this. The stress, the uncertainty. Watching our savings disappear. Then don't think about the next 2 months. Just think about tomorrow. We'll get through tomorrow, then the next day, then the next." Logan squeezed her hand, one day at a time. "Exactly." 3 months after the lawsuit was filed, Logan got a call from Reeves. "I've got news. Harrington Group wants to settle." Logan's heart stopped. "Settle? Why?" "Because we've got them backed into a corner. Between your documentation and the other testimonies, they know they can't win this, so they're offering a settlement." "How much?" Reeves told him the number. It wasn't life-changing money, but it was enough. Enough to cover legal fees, enough to put something in savings, enough to breathe. "What's the catch?" Logan asked. "Standard stuff. Non-disclosure agreement, no admission of wrongdoing on their part. You take the money, you walk away, and you don't talk about it publicly." Logan's stomach twisted. "So they get to pretend they didn't do anything wrong." "That's how settlements work." "And if I don't take it? Then we go to trial, which could take another year, maybe longer, and there's no guarantee we win." Logan sat down. "Can I think about it?" "You've got 72 hours. Logan hung up and immediately called Alara. She was at a client meeting, so he left a voicemail. Then he sat there, staring at nothing. When Alara got home that night, Logan told her everything. "They're offering a settlement," he said. "Enough to cover the bills, enough to start over. But I have to sign an NDA. I can't talk about what they did. They get to walk away like nothing happened." Alara sat down next to him. "What do you want to do?" "I don't know. Part of me wants to fight, take it to trial, make sure everyone knows what they did. And the other part? Wants to take the money and move on, rebuild our life, stop living in survival mode." Alara was quiet for a moment, then she spoke. "Logan, you've already fought. You've already stood up to them. You've already proven you're not someone they can just push around. Taking the settlement doesn't erase that, doesn't it? If I take the money and sign the NDA, it's like admitting they won." "No, it's admitting you're tired, and that's okay." Logan looked at her. "You think I should take it?" "I think you should do whatever lets you sleep at night. But I also think you've sacrificed enough. You've lost your job. You've spent months drowning in stress. You've put Ava through uncertainty. If taking the settlement means we can rebuild, then maybe that's the right choice." Logan leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "What if someone else gets targeted? What if they do this to someone else because I didn't stop them? Then that's not on you. You did what you could. You filed the lawsuit. You made them pay. You can't fix everything." Logan closed his eyes. "I just wanted to do the right thing." "You did. But the right thing doesn't always look like winning. Sometimes it just looks like surviving." Logan thought about that, about everything they'd been through, about the life he wanted to build for Ava, about the woman sitting next to him who'd given up everything to be here. "Okay," he said finally. "I'll take the settlement." Alara wrapped her arms around him. "You're sure?" "No, but I'm doing it anyway." She almost laughed. "That's very on brand for us." "Yeah, it is." Logan called Reeves the next morning and told him to accept the offer. Reeves said he'd handle the paperwork. 2 weeks later, the settlement was finalized. Logan received the payout, paid off his legal fees, and put the rest in savings. It wasn't enough to retire on, but it was enough to give them breathing room. He also started getting job offers. Word had gotten out about the settlement, and apparently standing up to Harrington Group had made Logan interesting to certain employers. A mid-sized logistics firm reached out, offered him a position managing their operations. The pay was comparable to what he'd been making before, maybe a little better. Logan accepted. His first day was nerve-wracking. New office, new people, new systems. But he settled in quickly, and within a few weeks it started to feel normal. Alara kept freelancing, slowly building her client base. She was good at what she did, and people noticed. She got referrals, repeat business, enough work that she started turning things down. Life didn't magically get easier. Bills still piled up. Ava still had meltdowns. Logan and Alara still fought sometimes, about money, about schedules, about whose turn it was to do the dishes. But they got through it, together. 6 months after the settlement, Logan stood in the backyard watching Ava play. Alara was inside making lunch, the sun was warm, the grass needed mowing, and Ava was building something elaborate with sticks and leaves. "Daddy, come look!" Logan walked over. "What are we looking at?" "It's a castle, for the fairies." "It's very nice. Can we leave it here, so the fairies can find it?" Logan smiled. "Yes, sweetheart, we can leave it." Ava beamed and went back to building. Logan sat down on the porch steps, and Alara came out with 2 glasses of lemonade. She handed him one, sat down next to him. "She's amazing," Alara said. "Yeah, she is." They sat in comfortable silence, watching Ava work. "Can I ask you something?" Alara said. "Sure." "Do you regret it? Any of it?" Logan thought about the question, about the fear, the uncertainty, the moments when he'd thought they wouldn't survive. "No," he said. "I don't." "Really?" "Really. Because all of it, the lawsuit, the suspension, the stress, it brought us here. And here is pretty good." Alara leaned her head on his shoulder. "Yeah, it is." Logan wrapped his arm around her. "I love you." "I love you too." Ava ran over, covered in dirt. "Can I have lemonade?" "After you wash your hands," Logan said. Ava ran inside. Logan and Alara followed. That night, after Ava went to bed, Logan and Alara sat on the couch. "I've been thinking," Alara said. "About what?" "About making this official." Logan looked at her. "What do you mean?" Alara smiled. "I mean, I want to marry you." Logan's breath caught. "Are you asking me or telling me?" "Both," Logan laughed. "That's very you." "Is that a yes?" Logan pulled her close. "Yeah, that's a yes." They got married 3 months later. Nothing fancy, just a small ceremony at the park near the lake. Ava was the flower girl. Karen stood as Alara's maid of honor. A handful of close friends and family filled the chairs. Logan stood at the front, waiting, and when Alara appeared, his chest tightened. She looked beautiful, but more than that, she looked happy. When she reached him, she took his hands. "You ready?" she whispered. "Yeah. You?" "Yeah." They exchanged vows. Logan spoke about choosing love even when it was hard. Alara spoke about finding someone who stood beside her instead of trying to save her. They promised to keep choosing each other, every day, no matter what. And when the officiant pronounced them married, Logan kissed her, and everything else faded. The reception was at their house. Nothing fancy, just food, music, people they cared about. Ava ran around with the other kids, high on cake and attention. Logan and Alara danced in the backyard, swaying to music that was too loud and slightly off-key. "This is perfect," Alara said. Logan smiled. "It's chaotic." "Same thing." They danced until the sun went down, and when the last guests left, they collapsed on the couch. "We did it," Alara said. "Yeah, we did." Ava wandered over, rubbing her eyes. "Can I sleep with you guys tonight?" Logan looked at Alara. She nodded. "Yeah, sweetheart, come on." They went to bed together. Logan, Alara, and Ava squeezed between them. Ava fell asleep almost immediately, her small hand clutching Logan's shirt. Logan looked at Alara over Ava's head. "This is everything," he said quietly. Alara smiled. "Yeah, it is." They lay there in the dark, and Logan thought about the journey that had brought them here. The fear, the fighting, the moments when he thought they wouldn't make it, but they had. Not because everything went perfectly, not because they avoided hardship, but because they'd chosen each other every single day. And that was the lesson Logan would carry forward, the one he'd teach Ava as she grew up. Life wasn't about building walls to keep out uncertainty. It was about finding people who'd stand with you when the walls came down. It was about fighting for what mattered, even when the odds were stacked against you. It was about love that wasn't perfect, but was real. Logan had spent years trying to control everything, trying to make life predictable and safe. But safety wasn't the goal. Connection was. Love was. Family was. And he'd found all of that. Not by avoiding risks, but by taking them. A year later, Logan stood in the kitchen making breakfast. Ava was at the table doing homework. Alara was on the phone with a client, pacing in the other room. It was Saturday morning, ordinary, routine, and it was perfect. Ava looked up. "Daddy, can we go to the park later?" "Sure, sweetheart." "Can Alara come?" "Of course." Ava smiled and went back to her homework. Alara finished her call, walked into the kitchen, kissed Logan on the cheek. "Smells good." "Just pancakes." "So still good." They sat down together, ate, talked about their plans for the day. Nothing important, just life. And Logan realized that this simple, messy, imperfect life was exactly what he'd been searching for all along. Not control, not safety, just love. And that was enough. More than enough. It was everything.